Hey, I thought I'd show you around what I've managed to build in Satisfactory. I just launched the second phase of the space elevator, so that I'm not that far in the game, I guess. I got a lot. I got like 30 hours in, and this is my starting area, my first base. And as you can see, it's a little messy with lines going everywhere. Here's the space elevator. And that's the hub. And this horrible little mess here is... Oh dear. The whole thing started from these little iron ore miners. They are feeding some iron into my smelting here. And this isn't actually the first one I built, because now I have foundations under it, so it's a big difference. Here I got my copper set up. I got 2 sources of copper, or that mine over there, and there's a belt going to that hill over there that has another one, and these are feeding copper into this system. They are making copper sheets, some wires, and I think I got some. As you can see, traveling in the factory is not that handy. And here's some cable. And this was my first base. I then expanded it just a little bit. That I'm building. What's here? Some rotors, which are like the next tier of objects that you have to build. Here my foundations ran out of space, and I just put an assembler here on the ground. This is making some modular frames. And there's some power lines, and then let me show you the first expansion that I did. Here are some hyper tubes, which makes traveling a bit easier. Here you can get a nice view of the whole thing. We are now going to my first expansion, where when I discovered coal, I needed to start up steel production. So that's happening over here. Over here, a couple of truck stops running coal. And these are my iron mines, just like in the first base. And there's the car bringing in the coal. The coal comes into the truck stop, and it goes to these storages, and then they start feeding these foundries over here with these belts, conveyor belts, and they end up making steel ingots, which again later on are transformed into by these assemblers and constructors to steel pipes and steel beams, which are very important for the next tier of building. And these things are eventually feeded into the steel beams, go to that truck stop, and there's the truck taking the steel beams and going to my second expansion, which I will be going to next. Because after you get some steel, then you need to build something else, and I didn't have enough space in that first expansion anymore, and I found a better place to build it, because I found some caterium ore, which is needed for some special recipes, which makes building easier. So I decided to expand here. Here are the truck stops that take in the steel pipes and steel beams, which are important for steel construction. Here's some iron mines here as well. 2 iron mines. And there's also a copper mine behind that hill, and it's feeding copper into this system. And these smelters take care of the iron, and these smelters take care of the no, wait, I think I'm saying it wrong, because where's hold on. Here's the Caterium ore. Or wait, what is this? Yeah, Caterium ore. Where is this coming from? I'm confused now. Oh yeah, that was feeding my... Heck, I'm confused now where the hell I am. But yeah, that was the... Well, this is one of the iron mines. Or do I have Caterium? Oh yeah, I have Caterium ore coming from 2 places. Yeah, that's why I was confused. Now this system is pretty backed up, that I've built everything necessary, so the feed of the Caterium ore is pretty slow now. Let's go forward. So this smelts the Caterium. I've got these factories set up in a manifold so I could expand them. First there were only 2, now there were... How many are there? Like 5 or 6? Anyways. Smelters. And they make the ingots that go to that storage over there, and then they start running over here where I've got my next level, or tier 2 or whatever you want to call it, production setup. Here's the assembler making some wire with with a special recipe from Caterium, which was the reason why I built this whole thing here. And here's the wire going out pretty fast. And these things then make the rotors and for these assemblers. And here is the assembler that makes some stators. And those things are fed into this assembler that make some motors, which are important for the next level. And then some of these, the extra stators and rotors, go into these 2 storage facilities. And with this setup, I was able to create... Oh, here was a assembler that I made, automated wiring, only for the space elevator project. I don't have like an official setup for that yet. But there's one last thing missing from this setup that I want to show you. Now all this thing takes power. You can see all these power lines here, bringing in electricity. But where is this thing actually getting the power? That's the question. Now this is answered with my first expansion. But it wasn't quite there, but there was a small hint at it. Because the car that was bringing in the coal, or the tractor that was bringing in the coal, that is where I've set up my coal mines, because that's the only place I found the coal. So let's go there. I've set up a tube to that place as well. And when we go down there, on the bottom right soon, you will see where I am getting the power. Here are some. The power lines go over there. And now we're going into this very pretty valley. And here it is. there's my manifold setup for coal. These power plants, they take in... I got some coal mines over there, nothing that interesting. And they are feeding coal into this system over here. The coal is ran into these plants through this system. And there's another pipe there, as you can see. Because the coal plants need water, the coal is burned and it heats up the water. And these water extractors here bringing the water. That's why I had to set up the coal factories here, because I want them to be close to the water. So yeah, this is my 30 hours in Satisfactory setup. I've, as you can see in the right corner, upper right corner, I have to do 2,500 some whatever that thing is, and 500 other things, and 100 other things. I don't even know what those are yet, so there's like no chance I'm gonna be anywhere close to completing this objective yet. The interesting thing is that I've just before I started recording this, I have opened up oil. I can now search for oil and put up an oil extractor and refinery for it. But the thing is, there's no oil anywhere near. So I have to really travel someplace very far and set up the whole thing there. So yeah, that's my Satisfactory, like very early, very bad base. But I thought you'd like to see this.